this. Weather alerts, zip, not a one out there tonight. Finally, they have all expired. That doesn't mean it's not still very cold, but I would say at least it's a bit more bearable. Just no dangerous cold necessarily when you compare it to yesterday, the day before. Here's a look at our wind gusts tonight. Still 20 to 25 miles per hour, but again, nothing compared to the 60 plus mile per hour gusts we saw the last day and a half. And here's a look at where things are headed. The wind gusts are going to continue to die down as we get into our early Monday morning. Now, I know a lot of people have this day off, but for those of you who do have to go to work, this is good news as you're out the door early tomorrow morning. Let's talk temperatures. This has been a big issue for us the last 24 hours. We've finally made it to the teens. 11 degrees in Cleveland, single digits in Mansfield and Worcester. It does still feel below zero, but not so far below zero as it did the other day. About 1 to 8 degrees below zero at this point. Now, getting into tomorrow, the morning will start with wind chills staying below zero, but in the afternoon, they'll finally make it above that mark. Let's go ahead and take a look at satellite and radar. Now, a lot of snow there out to the west near Kansas City, east of Omaha, pushing into Illinois. As far as us here at home, we have that band that's been hanging out there. Let me go ahead and advance this. This band of snow that's been persisting since last night that I mentioned could put down several more inches in Lake and Ashtabula counties north of 90, and a few flurries coming down southeast of Cleveland, southwest of Cleveland as well. The heaviest of the snow now done. That band of snow is now shifting north, but you will still see some snow showers coming down. Accumulation should be on the light side. Now let's talk about this system right here. This brief little band of snow is going to be pushing through tomorrow. It's a weak clipper, actually. We're going to get a quick hit of snow mid-afternoon, light accumulations once again. It won't be a huge impact for your forecast on Monday, but it does leave the chance of some small chances of a snow shower in there. Here's a look at how much snow is on the ground right now. A lot of people saying, a trace to an inch. Most of it is blown into snow drifts. 3 to 6 when you get towards Cleveland and Chardon. But if we zoom back in here, you will see that band I mentioned last night has accumulated over 12 inches of snow in Lake County there. Now that's not just from yesterday, that's from, of course, the last 2 days. But last night that snow band did put down a decent amount and it did reduce visibility. So coupled the blowing snow that we still have out there with some light additional accumulations tonight into tomorrow, still going to be some spots that your visibility is reduced as you're heading out the door tonight, going home from those Christmas parties, and as you're heading to work tomorrow morning or whatever you may be doing. Here's a look at Futurecast. Temperatures are on the climb. We are going to recover slowly but surely. Tomorrow, we're starting the day single digits to around 10 degrees, still cloudy, and then your afternoon, we finally make it to the low 20s. There's that quick burst of snow I mentioned. It's going to be on the lighter side, coming from west to east. It even looks like some of our northeast counties could be spared from that. Getting into Tuesday, a little bit warmer, starting the day in the teens, mid and upper teens, and by the afternoon, looking for the upper 20s. It only goes up from there. If you tuned in yesterday, we do have some wildly warm weather as we get into our New Year's Eve forecast. But first, let's talk about the snowfall I'm expecting here in the next 24 hours. Again, not going to be much, maybe a trace to a half an inch or so. So the drive to and from work tomorrow, here's a peek at that. I'd still say that to take it slow. There are some slick spots on the roads. It's still in that temperature threshold that it makes it hard to melt the ice on the ground. But that won't become much of an issue as we get into probably about Tuesday, I would say. So afternoon highs tomorrow, upper teens to 20s. Here's a look at the 8-day forecast. A big warm up on the way. Here's a look. We actually have a low pressure that's going to develop in the Central Plains on Thursday, make its way here starting Friday. Again, I mentioned we're waiting to kind of button up our rain chances for your New Year's Eve weekend. That frontal boundary is approaching. We could see some moisture ahead of the front. The bulk of it looks to be on Saturday, wrapping up more so on Sunday. But the reason we're so warm is this low pressure develops in the Central Plains. the low pressure stays northwest of us, and we get stuck in the warm sector of this system. Then we have a secondary low. That one arrives on Saturday. So the mixture of these two systems and us being stuck in the warm sector is why we're seeing these conditions. Now, one question I've been kind of looking at is any threat for flood issues? I don't think so as of right now. If the rain starts to come down heavy as we get into the weekend, we don't have a ton of snow on the ground. It's not like we have, most of us, with the exception of Lake County, most of us only have a couple of inches. So as that melts, it's going to be gradual from Wednesday to Thursday and into Friday. And Friday, the chance of rain right now looks pretty small. So flood issues shouldn't be a huge concern because this is pretty gradual, albeit a short period of time. But then when we add on that extra moisture on Friday and Saturday, still waiting to see how much accumulation of rainfall we could get. But it should be slow enough and steady enough that this doesn't become a huge issue. But we will keep an eye on it as we head into the next holiday weekend and the close of 2022. All right, everyone's saying a Merry Christmas. I know, a heat wave when you hit the 20s, right? Imagine what the 50s are going to feel like. It's going to, well, frankly, feel like Florida. They've been in the 50s and 60s and even 40s these last couple of days. So hopefully you all had a very Merry Christmas. You stayed safe, had safe travels, enjoyed time with your family, and you are looking forward to these warmer temperatures that are on the way. Take care.